Hey guys, Kyle here. Before we get started with the Violet Evergarden reaction and review series, I kind of wanted to sit down. I don't know, some ground rules, if you will, for this. The subject matter is very sensitive, dealing with post-war life, trauma from war, as well as having watched just the first episode so far. Really inhumane treatment of people before war and during, of course. That's something I have firsthand experience with the trauma of war. This series was recommended to us based on my 86 review. Um, and if you really want to hear more about what I did go through in Iraq as well. I think I touched on Afghanistan. Those tours were not as rough as the Iraq one. Go watch the 86 part 1 and 2 reviews. They're somewhere here, screen description box, what have you. But I wanted to say, this will be kind of slow. I can't promise we're going to watch an episode every day. I can't even promise we'll watch an episode every week. It's hard, and I can't put myself in too rough of a mindset when I've got an 8-year-old son, a wife, plus my own disabilities and stuff. The brain injury being one of the biggest ones. The more stress I'm under, the less brain power I have. So be patient, but I promise that whatever I do record, unless it's just utterly devastating, I will deliver to you guys. But I do reserve the right to say, hey, this is too much for me. My behavioral health, my mental health, we call it behavioral health in the Army, or at least towards the end of my career they did. It's not for entertainment. I hope you guys understand that. So I'm a pretty open dude, and my wife, who is joining me on this trip, is also fairly open. But we do like to have some privacy. So I thank you guys for watching. I hope you understand, and I hope the format, the way that I cut this together, the way we stop and talk about certain points, all works for you guys, and that you guys get something out of it. Understanding, maybe you got a family member who's been to war and they can't communicate as well. Everyone's experiences are different, and this is a show, so there's a lot of fantastical elements to it. In a way, maybe fantastical is wrong word, but there are a lot of similarities and commonalities, I guess might be a good word, amongst things that soldiers, Marines, airmen, sailors all go through, having done or faced some of this stuff. So I'm gonna stop talking so we can start watching Violet Evergarden. Hello everyone, welcome to the AVR squared Violet Evergarden episode 1 semi reaction. Why is it semi? Well, I'll tell you in just a second after I say we are part of the big LRMonline.com family, so make sure you check them out every day for all of your entertainment news, needs, and opinions. Subscribe to the Genreverse YouTube channel that you're watching us on here. We got a lot of great content. We actually watched I'm Kyle. This is Christine, and you can see our social media information down below. We started watching episode 1 of Violet Evergarden, and somehow I guess I accidentally clicked stop record on the thing, and we didn't even get anything, basically. Yeah. So we're gonna rewatch the 15-16 minutes or so that we had seen, and discuss some of the things that we did discuss. But I'm sorry you won't see the initial reaction to some of the reveals. I do have brain injury, and so a lot of stuff to keep track of here. I'm sorry, but after this
it's fine.
episode, we'll have our real time reactions for you guys. So, Violet Evergarden, take 2. Here we go.
Violet, are you okay? Are you hurt?
You know, we had mentioned when we were watching through about how you know, I was medevaced because of a medical situation. I was not medevaced due to a combat injury, but they screwed things up, and I was sent to Germany, and I really didn't need to be. But Violet goes through this whole thing of, I need to get back. You know, if I can do things, I could do anything to get back. I know what that is like, you know, towards the end of my career, getting hurt, combat related injuries, PTSD taking its toll, the physical toll of service on my body. Like, that was a hard thing to deal with, feeling less useful, like I can't do my job, especially an engineer, you know.
Yeah.
Where is the emerald brooch? Huh? This is everything there was from the garrison and the place where they found you. If it's not here, I have to look for it.
Violet!
Someone gave it to me. The Major gave it to me.
I wonder if someone stole it, sending it over.
That, or
I understand.
They didn't see it, and it's probably gone.
well, I'm wondering if maybe one of them has it, trying to keep her from
Being too attached to the item.
something,
Yeah.
confronting what has happened to the Major, you know. She's got these other things out there, thoughts, and I don't know. It's not always good to hide something bad having happened, but there are times where people say, hey, you can't tell someone XYZ for certain reasons, you know, mental behavior, you know.
Yeah. At first seeing it, it was like, why aren't you saying anything? Why aren't you telling her what's really going on? But yeah, she probably definitely can't handle it right now.
You know, one of the things we had mentioned was her like obsession with using rank and title protocol. Soldiers, like, that's the first things you learn, how to address leadership, how to stand when talking to leadership, because don't you dare just stand any way. You better be at attention or parade rest, depending on the person that you're talking to, unless you're told to relax. That's such a key, important part of being a soldier, that having that entertained, if you will, is important. Having a sense of familiarity when you're being taken out of the service is important. That's something almost every vet I know has dealt with, including myself, is whether you get out medically, combat related, or just get out / retire. The civilian world does not operate the same.
Yeah. Very hard to transition over.
And even hearing your first name or using first names is very, very foreign. I mean, some of my best friends in the Army, like Carter and Goodings, what name am I using? Last names, like,
yeah,
it's that ingrained. And so it's important, and I like that. And I want to say this now, even though the scene hasn't come, when he takes her to the post office and he says, "Call me president because I'm the owner of the company." That's entertaining it, but trying to slowly bring her over into this new civilian life.
I remember when we were in Germany and you were getting ready for deployment. You were there just waiting around, and Lewis's wife called out his name, and I was like, "That's your first name?"
Willard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good times. Yes, we'll use our mouths for everything. Tearing into stuff, opening things,
Well, I'm gonna
holding
get going.
things, flashlights, screws, nails. The mouth is an extra
Surprised
pocket.
y'all have teeth.
Listen close.
It's an extra hand.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about us at all.
Oh god, and then like when you do something with your mouth and you're trying to fix it and then you taste army.
Yes, Army has a taste and it has a smell.
It's gross.
It's comfort.
No, it's not.
I can't become a replacement for your lost child.
Okay, listen, Violet.
Ouch.
It's Gilbert's wish for you to live happily here. So, do you understand?
It's too much, so not everyone, and a lot of things that I'll talk about, I'll try to make sure I personalize things that are personal. But if I'm speaking in general, it's my experience with other vets, my own friends, my father who did 21 years, my father-in-law who did 20 years. But a lot of soldiers do have those issues coming back to comfort, the comfort of home. Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Falcon, now Captain America himself, but Sam talks about that, and he talks about the bed being too soft, or Cap mentions the bed being too soft to him, and about sleep issues and things like that. I was lucky that I could usually get back into being in bed because most of the time downrange we had bed frames and mattresses. Even living in tents, we had been set up long enough, or engineers being engineers, we would engineer shit. Or if we couldn't, we can't make our own bedding or mattresses, but we could sure trade some materials, or hey, we'll build this for you if you give us whatever. We called those drug deals, not literal drug deals, which we did have a platoon get in trouble for in Afghanistan the first time. But anyways, I kind of lost my thought.
Beds.
So yeah, coming back, a lot of people need some sort of transition, so they'll sleep on the couch, they'll stay up later, they'll do things that cause something to be more familiar to what they just left. And it's interesting. They're kind of pointing some of that out here, and I don't know. I think they kind of, while I cannot relate to losing body parts, I can definitely relate to a lot of things in this. I think they're doing a pretty good job of showing a realistic look at someone who, from the surface stuff we've seen, would be like, let alone being a tool, being told you're like a dog, so having a bunch of other trauma beforehand. But,
yeah, something.
Major Gilbert! Why is he leaving me here? Is it because I lost my arms and lost my value as a weapon? If I just trained
that
a
right
little,
there.
I'd still be able to fight!
Violet, you know the war is over.
I am the Major's tool. But if he doesn't need me anymore, then I should be discarded. Please do it.
And you see, this right here is what I was talking about, having value and having use, and when it comes to being in the military, it's not a right to get to serve. You don't just get to because you're born in the United States, and it's not even really as much as a privilege as people like to say. We have one job, and that's to fight and win America's wars. If we're not fighting the war, we need to be training to fight the war. And okay, it looked like my thing was frozen for a second. I was getting scared. I was like, no, I don't want to do this again. if you're not capable of doing the job in austere, dangerous environments, because supply, medical, not combat medics, I'm talking X-ray and dentists and stuff like that, the surgical staff for the field hospitals and stuff, none of them are necessarily going to be like line combat troops. But then you've got your combat support and your combat arms. Everyone, you have to be able to do that job. So while recruiting, I had to tell people, you're not qualified. I know you want to do it. I know you've dreamed of doing this. And yeah, there's jobs that you could in a perfect world do, but the military is not a perfect world.
Yeah.
And that's why, and I don't want to get into any of the politics of it or anything, but that's why a lot of people feel very strongly about it. Sucks if there's certain groups that aren't as likely to qualify as others, but there's only one mission: fight and win the war, or train to fight and win that war. And if you have any conditions, treatments, things that happen to you after you've been in, even that cause that to be a mission weak point,
Mm-hmm.
you can't serve. It's that important. And so that breeds this sense of value in us. And losing that, we're one of a small group of people that are willing to volunteer, and then out of that group volunteering, we're one of, that can actually qualify to serve. And so even if you don't realize it at first, but especially if you go career, you'll realize that there's almost no other higher calling. You're a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the population that can and is willing to do this, and that means something. And so to lose that is hard, and that was one of the hardest things that I had to still go through.
So it's like you're a soldier first, you're MOS second, kind of thing. And because it's like with like basic training, they're trying to get you into that mindset, because it'll save your life.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't really just like set it aside so easily. So
no, I
can't imagine the pain.
It's rough, and that's why I'm happy to have this right here, doing the podcast. I get to produce something, learn, and earn some new skills that hopefully I can one day apply. I unfortunately don't have the brain power or capacity, if you will, the tolerance to work regular jobs. But if I can produce videos on my own time, I can make money off that. Subscribe. But I've also gotten to help others at the channel with their own nervousness. Manny, I mentioned this in the first try to record. Manny told me about how doing the Daily Cup of Genre with him really helped with his interviews, helped with his comfort, and that made me feel useful for the first time in a while. Yeah, I'm useful to my wife and my son, but that's familial. I've dealt with having a reduction in my capabilities doing that, but that's a little different. Like I said, serving is special, and I hadn't had anyone outside of you guys say, hey, you've got value besides producing something for this site. You've got a personal value. You influenced me. You helped me, and hearing that from Manny really helped me out, because that's, as a leader, that's what you want to do with your subordinates. You want to get them to where you are and beyond. You want Private Snuffy, while you're Sergeant E5 Malone. You want Snuffy to not just make it to E5, but you're hoping that he's meeting you at E6, that he's fast tracked, and you both are going to hit 6 together, and that is some really cool things to see.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, thanks, man. I'm glad I could help you out, and you help me out as well, bud. And that's what makes this job she gets at the post service such a good like transition.
Mm-hmm.
Is she's gonna get the uniform. She's gonna get a very
There's going to be some structure. Yeah.
tangible job with a goal that you can see. The mail pile will get lower. You can track progress, like all of those types of things we have in the military. This is a great transition type thing.
Yeah. I like how many people are working there too. So there's going to be eventually, I'm sure, someone that she can get kind of close to,
Yeah.
you know, just at least in a, hey, how's your day kind of thing. At least there's someone to talk to instead of being, you know, alone in that house,
Mhm.
you know, because that's not going to help her out at all.
No. I like the texture of this animation. I really do. I don't know how else to explain it other than I can feel the image, and it's
Yeah.
great. It's a funny moment, but it just shows like how little she thinks of herself as a person, and how sad that is.
Yeah.
You'd have to get little tracks that you could melt rubber into, so you could have some grip. And then just every few weeks, you got to melt the leftover rubber and
Put another one on.
lay on a new strip. If you wanted to see the badass metal hands, I still stand by. If Full Metal Alchemist was a situation, I would definitely do Taboo just to get a badass. Well, my knee hurts. My knee and my arm hurt. The metal stuff.
But you don't know what they're gonna take. Took teachers' insights.
I'll make a deal. I went to business school.
Okay then. I do like that he's getting onto her case. Like she didn't take a break. You know,
Yeah.
kind of like that awareness. I'm gonna say you didn't even take a break.
You need that. You need
Yeah.
you need people that are going to be kind and gentle, but you also need some people that are going to be blunt to balance that out. They just need to know what is best to be blunt about.
Mhm.
I saw you like that and left you alone. That's why when Gilbert left you with me, it was my chance for redemption. Someday, you'll understand what
Was he in her training?
and you'll realize
Maybe.
first time.
You see, that's another thing that there's a lot of people that did and had worse things happen in their tours than I did, even in my worst one in Iraq. And there's people that had much easier, better tours with less stress, less danger. There's some on both sides of those that do better than I have, and those that have done worse than me. You know, there's people that have legitimately had serious issues after just dealing with a base that has incoming mortars and rockets, you know, regularly. If they live near the airfield, maybe I could get it, but this is the bravado here. But if you weren't near the airfield, fucking incoming isn't that big of a deal. No, it does. A friend of mine was killed by incoming fire on the way to chow to eat. So yeah, it can affect you, even if you're not going out and kicking in doors or on mounted patrols, convoys all the time. And just having a couple of IEDs go off on or around your vehicle, not to mention concussions, which up until the late 2000s, 2010s, 2010s, we even really start paying attention, because I for sure had concussions in Iraq, and it was once you're done throwing up, take maybe a day off, you're back out.
And that pissed me off because it's like you're back at work the next day. Like if you get any other kind of injury, it's like you can physically see it, and then it's like, okay, well, you need to be careful, wait for your stitches to heal, don't pop a stitch. And it's like, I know you can't see your brain, but still take care of it just like any other part. And
you would think they've gotten better.
Yeah.
You were the first person who was kind to me.
I appreciated it. You were everything to me. I would have done anything for you. Anything at all.
Go!
I want to know how you feel.
And World War I was trash.
I want to understand what's in your heart.
Mm.
Even though we're apart now. I love you.
We'll end with that. Okay? What do you think?
Great.
She had always just followed Gilbert's orders in the past. That was the first time she asserted her own will. Everyone said she didn't have a heart, but she said, "I want to know what I love you means."
No way! There's no way I'm going to let you die!
Stop it. Stop it already!
Enough.
Violet, listen. You have to live and be free. I mean it. I love you.
Well, this is no, stop. How dare you immediately? Oh, there is no music at the end. Okay. This is a really good show so far.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a lot 100% spot on. Is the best way I could put it. And again, it's not all my experience, but those that I know and yeah, guys, very cool. Christine, what'd you think of it?
That was really good. It's definitely like, I don't know. At first, when I was watching it, I was thinking, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about watching this show, because it was like super depressing, and it's like, you have to be in the right mind frame for some of this stuff, and you don't want to go in miserable watching an episode that's going to make you more miserable. But I think I'll do fine with it. But yeah, I can't wait to find out what happens next. And yeah, that's it. We start off low, and I'm wondering if we're going to build up and things are going to get a lot better. Because usually it goes the other way around in a lot of shows where things they're fine, and then it starts to get dark.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it's just going to get brighter and brighter.
We'll see. I'm sure we're gonna have to hang out. In the past for some flashbacks and describe all this trauma. But good series. Thanks for the recommendation, guys. I don't know when the next episode will be out because, like Christine said, you kind of got to be in the right mindset. And like with 86, there were times where we had to stop for a few days, more for me than her. But yeah, we'll keep this up, and I promise that I will double, triple, quadruple check to make sure that the recording is going for a true initial first take reaction. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. All of our podcasts, like Anime-Versal reviews, regular AVR, the Cantina, Marvel Multiverse Mayhem, Daily Cog, Breaking Geek, all go up on your favorite podcast apps as well. So if you like hearing about any of those specifics or general geek and entertainment news, subscribe to this channel, follow on the podcast app. The podcasts are all up on video format on YouTube as well. The rest of the information is down below, and we'll see you next time.